I've drawn a rough body outline onto the cherry blank. What I'm going to do now, while it's still square, is actually carve out this section here for a little bit of weight reduction. I'm leaving it like this now because it's easier, you know, with a bigger piece. You don't have to worry about all the curves of the body. And then once I hollow that section out, I'm going to start actually with chisels and then possibly use my router. And then once I do that, I'll actually glue the maple top to the cherry and then cut the whole body out. So it took me about 30 minutes, I guess, to start to chisel out the outline of the weight reduction section I'm going to do. Of course, I made one of those beginner mistakes that can only have happened the way it did. I was trying to chisel out this section. I was going uphill against the grain. So of course, when I hit the chisel with the mallet, it flipped up the piece of wood. So what I did was I filled it with CA glue, put it down, hit it with the accelerator. It's pretty stable right now, so what I'll do later is sand over this. It shouldn't be visible when I'm done. I'm going to glue my maple top to this and then do binding around the top, so it should be hidden. I mean, it's just a very surface chip. And then of course when I glue on top of it like this, it'll be even more reinforced. So the next step is probably to take a router with a small bearing bit, go through and actually start hollowing out this more. I've got a small pattern bit in my router now, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride the bearing along the edge that I just carved out. And what this is going to do is it's going to level out the height of the carving as well, and it'll now set the entire area for me to put a bigger router bit in to go much deeper. you can see the router cleans it up nicely. So now what I'll do is go back, probably smooth this just a little bit more, and then I'll put a bigger router bit in and go deeper until I get about somewhere between maybe a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch from the other side. As I don't want to, go too deep and accidentally go through the other side, but I do want to do this for weight reduction, and so I want to go far, but not too far. I now have a considerably larger router bit in the plunge router, and the thing about this was prior to turning on the camera, I verified that even when I go the entire depth of the plunge base, it won't go through the bottom here, and that's perfect. It probably leaves like a 1/2 inch of space, which should be more than enough. Again, I'm only doing this for weight reduction, not, trying to get a sound profile or something. And so, yeah, I'll hollow this out and then I'll be ready to cut out the edge of the outline. And with that, I have my weight reduction hole routed out. And, as I mentioned, the whole point of this is really just to take some of the wood out. It's not really for decorative purposes. I'm going to be putting a maple top on the top of this. But the router does a great job, and you can see it's nice and smooth on the bottom. My previous guitar I built, I actually drilled it out with a drill press, and it left all the circle holes from the Forstner bit. Now, that's usually not a problem, except at the last minute I decided I was going to put an F-hole in. And, as beautiful as that guitar turned out, when you look through the F-hole, you can actually see all the tooling marks. And so, in this case, again, I'm not planning on putting on any holes, but it does give me the flexibility to know that, this chamber is routed out cleanly, just in case I, feel like doing something a little bit later. So the next step here is actually to cut away most of the outline of this to start shaping the body. I'll eventually, shape the body using a router bit so that I get a nice clean edge from my template. But, I want to reduce as much of the excess waste so that the router doesn't have to work so hard.